What's up, you guys? Nick Nadelku here. I'm a real estate agent in the Lake George area of New York. I just wanted to do a quick video and talk really quickly about most of my failures as a real estate agent and kind of see if that relates to you guys. If there are any other real estate agents watching this, I'd be curious to see in the comments section what some of your biggest failures or biggest regrets or just like worst case scenario happening. Like, what's the worst thing that's happened to you as a real estate agent? So this is my story. Let's just jump right into it. So for me, the first one that comes to mind is when I was at my previous company. I had just started as a real estate agent, and I had been going after this one for sale by owner for a while. I had gone on, I think, 2 listing appointments with them. I've talked to them on the phone a bunch of times. Basically, I got them to agree that they're going to list their house with me. And then a buyer who I acquired through an open house was telling me what kind of house he was looking for. And I told this buyer, hey, I'm going to get a listing that basically fits that description perfectly on this road. So I'll let you know when that's going to be up. It should be about a week or so. And then he calls me like the next day and he's like, hey, I hate to tell you this, but I drove down that street and I saw a for sale by owner sign and I knocked on the door and I bought it. And I'm like, so basically I lost both the buyer and the seller at once. That was the most discouraging thing I can even imagine, because this is like, it was going to be my first sale ever as a real estate agent. I was going to get both sides of it. And because I told them where the listing was going to be, he went behind my back and bought it himself without me. Second thing, I have a Instagram meme page, like a business real estate meme page on Instagram. And one of the memes that I had posted when I was at my first company was this one. Okay, great. So you got that. Basically, the company really didn't like that meme. They thought that it was inappropriate, whatever. So basically, I ended up having to switch companies to the one that I am at now. Since then, I've seen like the #1 real estate agent in Long Island posting that exact same meme. I've seen other real estate agents sharing it. I still don't think that there's an issue with it, but whatever. It's no longer there. I'm at a better company now. Whatever.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Okay, an expired listing is when a real estate agent lists a house for sale, but they're not able to sell it during the duration of time they have the home listed for. So let's say a listing is 6 months or a year or whatever it is. After 6 months or a year, they no longer have the listing. Other agents can talk to the seller and see if they can list it instead. So at one point, the most expensive house in our whole listing system expired. It was $15 million. So I was like, wow, I really want the chance to list this house. So over the course of 2 weeks, I sent the homeowner 10 letters. I went to his business. I left my business card with his front desk lady, and then I was like, okay, I guess that's still not enough. So I went to the bakery. I had a cake made that said, selling your home won't be a piece of cake. It'll take hard work and creativity. Nick Nadelku, phone number, written in frosting. And I had that delivered to his house. So the next day he calls me. He's like, Nick, you just sent me a cake. Do you want to come look at my house? And I'm like, yes, I do. So I made the trip over to his house. I talked to him. This is a big, beautiful mansion. I talked to him all about it. He drives me around in his Corvette. He shows me a business that he had for sale too. And I look it up online and I'm like, hey, this one expired too. So he tells me about that as well. At the end of the meeting, I'm like, so do you want to give me a chance to sell this for you? And he's like, yes, absolutely. Send the paperwork over to my lawyer and he'll deal with it. So I do that. And a week later, I am still not hearing anything back from them. I follow up with the lawyer. I go to the guy's house. I knock on the door. Nobody answers. I leave my business card. I look it up on the listing system, and he had listed it like a couple days later with another real estate agent. I'm like, are you kidding me? That was $30 total million worth of house for sale, or like total listing, that just got taken away from me randomly. And it has expired again, and I'm still going after it, but I'm just like, come on, man. $30 million. That I was that close to it. Okay, so I had this one house for sale for $1.25 million. And after a year on market, the house expired. And as soon as that happens, the Cove happened. And because of the Cove, prices went way up. So very soon after it expires, some other buyer who just bought a house in the same neighborhood, another like several $1 million house, comes in and gives them almost full asking price for sale by owner. They sell it without me, just like a month or two after I had it listed. What can you do? And then I had this other listing for almost $1 million, and we got an offer very close to asking price. One of the sellers seemed pretty receptive to it. The other seller said, you know what? I'm no longer interested in selling it. I want to take it off the market. And I'm like, I mean, yeah. Okay, so last year I got a listing for $1.3 million as an expired. So another agent had it listed for a year, and then they weren't able to sell it. I came in, I listed it for sale, I sold it. And my sellers were like huge fans of me. They think I did a very good job, whatever. They called me this year and they're like, hey Nick, my neighbor wants to sell their house. Would you be able to meet me up here and talk about it? So I made this big CMA presentation with like all of the comps, everything that's sold around here recently. And I basically showed them like, okay, this is exactly where the price should be. This is my commission rate, and for this reason, blah, 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 whatever. So he's like, okay, I'll have an answer for you by the weekend. And I'm like, okay, would it be easier if I reach out to the seller and talk to them myself? He's like, no, I got it, it's fine. So I wait until the weekend, and before calling my seller, I look it up on the MLS just to make sure, and I'm like, oh my God, it's already listed by someone else. So they listed it the next day after I met with my seller. I'd never even gotten contact with the actual sellers of this house, and the agent who listed it was the one who had listed their house previously. So I'm just like, I'm sure my sellers had absolutely no say in what was going to go on anyway, but I don't know. That one was really discouraging too. So yeah, I've had a lot of great successes in real estate, and I'm doing really well now. But I wanted to just tell you guys some of the like really shitty things that happened to me. That way, if you're a real estate agent, something like this happens to you, like it's not the end of the world. Like it sucks, but I feel like you have to go through a certain amount of these things to be able to deal with the amazing ones. Like, you see people absolutely killing it, and you think like, oh, it must have been so easy for them, but they probably deal with just as much of this bullshit that I do, and probably like even more. I'd be curious, if you're a real estate agent, tell me some of the things like this that have happened to you. I'm really curious about it. And also please like and comment and subscribe for the algorithm. Thanks so much, guys. Talk to you soon.